Empire is a setting that we've created for a new Fantasy Fest LRP. It's going to be a huge political game where you're controlling and running an empire, and you're basically trying to build your own empire and fight off the enemies of the empire and defeat them in kind of battles, and it'll be a mix of politics and war. A lot of people when they're writing a LARP game tend to focus on the setting, and they write about the rules, and they write about the races and the things that are in the world. These days when we start designing a LARP game, we try to think about what players do, how they react to events, what sort of things they enjoy doing. It's much more about the psychology of what players find enjoyable. But the setting and the rules all come later.
What I think is new about Empire compared to other LARPs I've worked on is that it has a design process alongside the creative activity. So we have feedback from focus groups, we have very experienced people who've done this before, and we are all aiming on producing a story-making machine that produces stories that lots of different sorts of LARPers will really love telling.
And one of the things that was really exciting about the focus groups was on 2 or 3 occasions we were able to get some brilliant insights into why players do things at LARP, what they actually enjoy doing and what they don't enjoy doing. And that gave us a real insight into what we should be designing and what we should be writing to structurally produce a game that people enjoy playing, irrespective of the setting and the rules.
My role in the company is I'm helping Matt Pennington basically with the whole design process. I'm mostly in charge of the writing and campaign development side of the project, designing the nations, looking at how we can build a believable world for our game to take place in.
We were given some early concepts of nations that Matt and Andy and some of the earlier writers had wanted to build, and my team then worked in a close-knit team working on Skype, via email, via Messenger, developing concepts, booting them around between us until we developed a draft which we then submitted to Andy and Matt.
In terms of Empire's setting, what we're trying to go for is the idea that you have this beleaguered empire caught in the middle of a map full of barbarians of all sorts of different types, and you are essentially the last bastion of civilization holding out against these threats from all around the place. And what Empire is a story of the struggle for survival for this pocket of civilization.
The exciting thing is we're not just drawing on authentic real-world history, although the historical period we're covering is from the Normans to Renaissance Italy, so there's a great deal of opportunity there for people to play things that are really going to excite them. But you can also draw on the fantasy world as well, so the opportunities for players to create a character they're excited about is fantastic.
One of the pitfalls for a writing team in this sort of project is that while every nation we produce has to be a really strong piece of work, it also has to fit into the wider game. So we had an early draft of one nation which was a really strong piece of work in and of itself, but covered areas of the game that were already covered elsewhere. So we had to tear much of that down and rework it.
The other difficulty I suppose we've had is with, it's key with Empire that everything we do has to be cool in uptime. So it's all very well having wonderfully imaginative stories about what's going out there on the map. Writers are really keen to go on these flights of fancy, but actually the things that are cool about Empire have to be cool to do in a field. They can't just be cool stories in the background, and it's important that everything we do has to reflect that. So we had to change quite a lot of stuff just to make sure that we are trying to be cool in uptime.
It's very easy to get stuck in your own loop of ideas and to not include a wider concept of the game. So as well as being part of our writing team, all of my writing team are part of other groups as well. So they're part of the broad Imperial Development Group, for instance, where they're aware of concepts we're developing on religion, on imperial structures like the Senate and the Bourse, and we have to interrelate those all in. If we don't pay attention to the development of those items, we can really miss out on bits of the game for players, and that would be a real shame. So part of my job is to harness the team and make sure we include those pieces as much as possible.
The ideas that underpin Empire that are really exciting to me are a world where the players are absolutely in control of something. It's the player's empire, it's their empire, and it will rise or fall as a result of their actions. So that was hugely exciting to me. But the other thing about Empire is the suggestion of things outside. It's the other, the alien, the enemy, the barbarian at the gates. And that's the bit where we'll come into the game to try and make that threat amazing and credible and scary and exciting, and give the players an enemy to fight against that is dangerous and real, and give them something to triumph against.
One of the challenges of Empire, from a game design point of view, is to make a game that appeals to both the people that loved Maelstrom, because we love them, we want them back, and also to more people, to make a bigger event, so that brutally we can spend more of Matt's money on really ace props and set.